Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Bloom. It's a 3 game week, so when the hell can I fit in my review? I've gone for a Friday lunchtime. We're in the live stream, but I don't assume many people will be around at Friday lunchtime like I am. But do get involved in the stream if a notification does pop up and you come and join us. So, game week 18 is now done. 1 game of the 3 game week remaining. Bit of a move up the top now. The top two, 5 points gap opened up. Hi, Nick, in the chat. Loads of goals. 3 teams hit 4, and some really good goals as well. I saw some Twitter conversations about the quality of the Championship, which we get every single year, frankly, but some really good goals, well worth looking at. Borough finally get a win. Blackburn, Fulham, Leeds and West Brom all on for the perfect 9.3 game week. Haven't been many of them this season. Think we're going to get a couple this week. Game number 1 up at the top. West Brom 4, Bristol City 1. We've said for a few weeks now, West Brom, they've got a couple of extra gears to go. Are they actually finding them now? It looks like they maybe. Let's go through these goals. Dean Garner steals it for the first one. Robson Kanu gets plays him through rather. Filthy back heel by Dean Garner, and Gibbs in from left back. You love that, don't you? Forward, left winger, left full back, all combining great goal. And then Pereira, just a superlative free kick, right on the edge of the 18-yard box, and just like, even if he picked it up and put it in the top corner, he wouldn't have got it much more perfect than he did, having a great season, Pereira. Jeju actually puts Bristol City back into the game. He doesn't start, comes off the bench and gets a goal. Maybe we'll see him start tomorrow. He gets it back to 2-1 from the corner. But it's a huge carve up between Bentley and Nagy from the clearance. Phillips low cross. Robson Kanu looks a little bit offside, but sticks it in for 3-1. And on 87, Charlie Austin comes off the bench, completely alone in the box, hits the post, but still has time to put the rebound in. 4-1, so West Brom match Leeds 4 straight victories, go back to the top. The gap between them and third place is now 7 points. I think this is the most impressive they've looked. And I still hark back to that last 3 game week where they drew at home to Charlton and Barnsley. They really could be well clear. Even 1 win from those 2 games, and they'd be 9 points clear of third already. So it is opening up for West Brom. If they can continue this winning run, or around 2 points per game for a few more weeks, they could open up quite the gap. Just depends whether Fulham and Leeds, maybe Forest, are going to go with them or not. Gibbs gets back into the back 4. We assumed at the start of the season he would be a regular starter. Bilic shows loyalty to Semi Ajayi, plays him over Higazi at centre half. I wondered whether he'd go for experience, but no. Sawyers and Livermore back in. And Robson Kanu seems to have laid claim to the number 9 shirt. 5 goals in his only 4 starts this season, mostly off the bench. And now you've got competition as well, because Robson Kanu takes the shirt, but Austin has scored off the bench for the last 2 games. All looks really rosy for West Brom. And that 3 off the front in 1 single game. You have a Dean Garner back heel assist, a brilliant free kick from Pereira, and Phillips with a cross for an assist as well. So everybody contributing, everything working well, team functioning. Well done, Slaven Bilic. Bristol City, big news was Corey Smith's return. I thought he'd be ushered in slowly, but he started. It was Palmer off Vyman up the top, but obviously Jeju scored, so maybe Lee Johnson goes back to a front 2. They're still trying to find a solution for these missing Afobe goals. Only the 3rd defeat of the season, but too many draws means it's only 1 win in 5 for the Robins. West Brom top, Bristol City 7th. Game number 2 is Reading 0, Leeds 1. Leeds keeping pace, keeping 2 points per game. I did a full review on this one, so do check that out. I won't go into forensic detail. Needless to say, Leeds snatched it at the end. Reading stubborn for most of the game, but a great counter. Harrison, I think he plays the first ball and then sprints all the way up the pitch. Costa then finds him with the cross. He heads it in for the winner. It's a classic bit of championship work, isn't it? Just turn up, take the 3 points, churn it out, churn it out. Can Leeds keep doing that? 4th win in a row. As I say, 2 points per game, keeping pace with West Brom at the moment. Bielsa goes for this back three. Cooper and Hernandez back in the team. Does seem now, give or take Tyler Roberts, whether he goes back for Forshaw or Shackleton, does seem now that Leeds have their strongest 11 fit, or the 11 that Bielsa wants to go with. Can they keep the players fit, and can they get January right this season in the transfer market? Because with those 11, I think we all know that Leeds are probably going to be fine. So let's see how that pans out. But nice little run of form, 4 wins on the trot for Leeds. Reading, they were more competitive than I've seen them in a home game against top teams. They're normally a little bit of a pushover in these games. So that will be something for Reading fans to hold on to. Wasn't the best watch. It was quite Steve Bruce-ish. I know Mark Bowen has worked with him, but hey, you got to be competitive. That said, after that glorious start, 2 defeats in a row, no goals in those games. So let's hope not a regression to the mean. Andrew says he thinks it'll be quiet for Leeds in January. I can't see them getting many in. You just feel, Andrew, if they could just add one player that improves the first team, who's going to play every week, that would just be, because other clubs will do it, that might just be the thing. But hey, we know Bielsa's a stubborn old guy, and he's probably like, no, this is my squad, they can go the whole season. We will see. Leeds 2nd, Reading 18th. Andrew says he'd take Dwight Gale. Every championship team would take Dwight Gale, wouldn't they? Lethal at this level. Game number 3, Fulham 3, Derby County 0. I don't know what's happened to Abubakar Kamara. I didn't think he was very good, but he scored 2 in the last game, keeps his place. Brilliant right wing cross this, and Bobby Reid heads in the opener. That's 2 players on the periphery contributing. I questioned the depth behind Fulham's first team. Hey, I can be wrong. 40th minute, Mitro, obviously he plays, he scores. Backheader from a Cavaliero corner. They're 13th of the season. And similarly, we saw a few of these goal kicks out. There's one in the West Brom game. There's going to be another one further on. Roos out to Bielik. Bad touch. Mitro on to Kearney. 6th of the season. 3-0 Bish Bash Bosh. Fulham 3rd win in a row. Looks a whole lot more rosy, doesn't it? 3 wins in a row will do that, won't it? After that whole game, and then lost 3-0, the knives were out a little bit for Scott Parker, but there you go, up into 3rd now. Can they go with the top 2, who seem to be on a little bit of a speedy run? Now, Kamara retained his place. Bobby Reid got the start, so no Knockaert or Arter in that 11. Fulham squad, as I say, showing some strength. Mitro and Kearney, though, really carrying the load, aren't they? 13 goals and assists for Mitro. Kearney, 6 goals, 3 assists. So 23 goal contributions already from those two. Can they both stay fit for 40 plus games? And can Scott Parker win the tactical battles against the big teams? We will see. But I criticised Fulham, and I will criticise Fulham every time they're out of the top 6 with that first 11 and that front 3. They're 3rd now, so I need to praise Scott Parker. And can they keep this winning run going at the weekend? And also, like all of the top 3, the potential for the perfect 9-point week. Derby keep up this absurd record now. 8 games worth of win at home, lose away, win at home, lose away, win at home, lose away. So ridiculous. 12 points at home, 0 points away in the same amount of games. How can you be so good at home and so bad? How can you be perfect at home and, you know, totally useless away? I don't know. Craig Forsyth continues his comeback after long injuries in the back 4. And lots of footage on the Derby Twitter now of a Wayne Rooney in training as they build to what will no doubt be the most hyped signing of the entire season in the Championship. Fulham 3rd, Derby 14th. When we go to game number 4, which I attended with YouTuber Mr. Dorr, friendly Forest fan. QPR 0, Forest 4. Marcus says Forest for automatic. or just playoffs? Still a worry if Graben gets injured. Need a striker in January. Not sure, Marcus, but they look pretty good for those playoffs, don't they? Are they expansive and attacking enough? Do you need to be in the Championship? I don't know whether you do. It's not the same as the Premier League where you need, 90 points from a 38-game league. Maybe you can hit the top two. We've seen teams like Cardiff go up in recent times. Not comparing Forest to Cardiff, obviously, but a more stable, stayed hard to score against team. That said, they won 4-0 in this game, so certainly looking good. Depends whether either of those teams I've mentioned, those top three, are going to have a wobble, a collapse, and whether Forest do themselves. But very good on this evidence. Figueiredo heads home Lolly's corner. Wallace red card on 50 minutes. Forest do exactly the right thing. Slow the game down, stretch it out, and there they go. Andrew says Forest defence up there with Leeds at this point in time. Forest for playoffs. And if you do get in the playoffs and you're really good at defending, not a bad thing, because then the nerves don't necessarily work the same way they do for these attacking teams who tend to collapse in the playoffs. We get to the last 10 minutes. 3 quick goals, a collapse here for QPR. Amiobi assists, great one for Graben, 8th of the season there. Carvalho in off the right, lovely dribble and finish opened up for him, like the parting of the Red Sea. And Lumley with a spill. Amiobi across to Semedo, the sub. 4-0 to Forest. They played it perfectly, didn't they? Did an absolute number on Rangers. They sat, they scored, they sat, they countered, red card, keep the ball, tire them out, obliterate them in the last 10 minutes. Perfect away performance from Forest. They're 10 points in the last 4 games since they've back-to-back defeats. Nice little bonus on the goal difference. Perfect evening for Forest. Very impressive stuff. I've seen them twice now. 2 wins, no goals conceded. Maybe I should go more often. Maybe Forest fans should pay for me to go and see Forest all the time. There we go, if I'm the good luck charm. QPR on the slide down to 16th. 2 points in the last 6 games. Bit of a sense of Warburton starting to second guess himself. Not partnering Wells and Hugel. Not putting Chair and Eze together from the start. 2 sitters in midfield. Okay, he's probably missing Cameron and Barbe in the back 3. But shame, because they were so hopeful, the QPR fans, just a month ago up in the top 6. Now sliding down to 16th place. Forest 4th, Rangers 16th. Game number 5. Hull 4, Preston 0. Goodness me. Don't think many people would have had a bet on that, but we know, hey, Hull went to Fulham and won 3-0, didn't they? Grzycki, 30 minutes outside of the right foot with the cross there. The Dumadev 16, we do really well against the top sides. Watch us blow it against the bottom of the table sides like Barnsley. Hope we hold on to Bowen. So Grzycki crosses with the outside of the right foot. Bowen in there, bit scruffy, but 50 goals now for Jared Bowen. There's not really much more we can say about him. Ledson takes down Bola. McGuinness, who's back into the team, puts the penalty in. Good signing that. Picked him up from financially ravaged Bolton, and I think Grant McCann likes him, doesn't he? McGuinness pokes Bowen in on the right side of the box. He crosses Grzycki. All of the good players combine, and he smashes the goal in. 77, 4-0 here. Bowen released down the right. Johnson says, okay, I'm not going to show you inside. I'm going to leave you with the tight angle. He just smashes it in on the near post. Just brilliant stuff from Bowen. 8 goals, 2 assists in the last 7 games for Jared Bowen, the most talked about player in the Championship at the moment. Andrew says it was this time last season Hull started waking up. Joel asked about Bowen's contract. I believe they've got an option for next season to extend. So I guess they can trigger the option, but there would then only be 1 year. So he's either going in January or in the summer. Just depends whether anyone panics in January and will offer stupid money for him. But it looks like it'll be the summer that Bowen finally gets his move to the Premier League. Anyway, Preston, they've rotated well this season. It did not work at all in this one. Bowden, Gallagher, Story and Ledson all come in. 2 straight defeats and no goals since coming back from the international break. Preston dropped down to 5th. Okay, they were doing brilliantly to be up in 2nd, but we know it's been quite unforgiving. A couple of defeats and you're right down. And now, especially maybe some highly expected teams starting to stretch out. you're not going to be able to catch them again. So Preston need a reaction at the weekend. Hull I'm finding fascinating now. 4 wins in 6 up to 9th. And they've got wins over Fulham, Forest and Preston. So as we got mentioned in the chat there, can they be consistent against the lower teams? Obviously, a lot depends on Mr. Bowen, Mr. Krzyzewski. We know that, so let's not repeat that analysis. But I just don't have any idea what the upside is. Can they keep those guys fit and actually push on even further up? Or is it going to be, top half or even lower? Who knows? I don't know. I really can never tell with Hull. But let's just enjoy Bowen at the minute, hey? Preston 5th, Hull 9th. Game number 6, Huddersfield 1, Swansea 1. Lovely finish this by Fulton, comes into the team, smashes one in the top corner on 18. Bit lucky for the equaliser. Pritchard long range and bounces through to Grant, but he is a great finisher, isn't he, and puts it in. Don't know what Trev Chalobah's doing at the end here, gets himself sent off, silly Billy there. So Swansea, I wondered whether Steve Cooper would be once bitten, twice shy with this rotation, because he went away to Barnsley and only got a draw. But maybe he's targeting these 3-game weeks. If you can just draw the away games if they're in the middle, then so be it, and that's fine. So Baston, Fulton and Pettersson, I don't know why I said Fulton like that, considering he is Scottish. They take a point, stay in the top 6, but only 2 points in the last 3 games, and having started with 7 wins in 8 in all competitions. 3 wins in 13. Fulham tonight. Are Swansea going to finally drop out of that top 6? Whenever I think they're going to, they don't. Last time I thought they won 2 back-to-back. So let's see what they've got about them. Huddersfield levelling off a little bit after that mad run when the Cowleys first started winning. Like Swansea, just 2 points from the last 3. Pritchard seemingly starting to take up the creative reins. Can they get a tune out of him? Will they miss Trev Chalobah while he's suspended? Remember, he got that crazy good assist in the last game and seems to be maturing nicely from the potential player I saw play for Ipswich last season on loan. Swansea 6th, Huddersfield 19th. They're still down there. Huddersfield need to keep up that pace, don't they? Game 7, Blackburn 1, Brentford 0, in the most Brentford result you could possibly wish to see, but the most un-Blackburn and kind of Brentford-like goal. What a goal by Blackburn. I've retweeted this one, so at Benjamin Bloom. Utterly brilliant goal by Blackburn, probably the goal of the day. Playing out, one touch, quickly moving the ball. We know Dak will finish these off. He's in great form. Brilliant goal from Blackburn. As I say, Brentford, Northwest, Tuesday night. They've been winning, so obviously they can lose 1-0 because that's what Brentford seems to do. Jan Zamburek makes a start, 18-year-old down the right, I guess in place of Mbuemo there. If anyone can tweet me about him, I know nothing about him whatsoever. Last time Brentford lost, they then won back-to-back games and they've been at the top of the form table. You'll take a defeat if it's always followed by 2 wins. That will still get you promoted. That means 2 points per game and 92 points by the end of the season. So let's see if Brentford can go again. Not sure who they've got at the weekend. If I press this button down here, I will find out. They're at home to Luton, so they will be thinking they can get the win at the weekend. Blackburn, lovely little streak going on here. Blackburn are similar to Swansea in that they always prove me wrong. Whenever I think Swansea are going to drop down, they come back out. Whenever I think Blackburn are, it's running out. Mowbray has a good little run. It's like they go back to basics and win a few games and keep some clean sheets. Or no, it's the first win in their first clean sheets in those, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But they've pulled it out here. 3 wins in 4. Brilliant goal. Dak in good form, 8 for the season, 3 in his last 2. And they're kind of touching the top half now again. Blackburn, strange team. Can he get a tune out of Sam Gallagher as well? Brentford 8th, Blackburn 13th. Game number 8 is the Pep Clotet Gary Monk shootout. Wednesday 1, Birmingham 1. Slightly unhelpful. I don't know whether they shook hands or had a glass of wine at the end. Who knows? 48th minute. Nice goal. I do like Crowley. Lovely little chip ball over to Bella, who I don't know much about. He's only recently got into the team. Nice cross. Jimenez sticks it in on the near post. 81st minute, Kadeem Harris in off the right wing and drills it home, doesn't he, for 1-1. As I say, unhelpful draw for both teams. Wednesday have not won in 5 and only 3 points in those games. At least they didn't get done by a late goal this time. Blues, well, they hadn't drawn in what seemed like forever, and now they get 2 draws in a row. No wins in 4, still tweaking up the top. I know Jutkovic and Adams was brilliant last year, and it's a bit unfair to continue. I think it looked like Bella with Jimenez up top in this one. They've tried 4-2-3 once. They've tried 2 guys wide supporting. Keep changing it, and the reason being only 18 goals, only Borough and Wigan, who are 20th and 22nd with less goals scored than Birmingham. Wednesday, 10th. Blues down to 15th. No wins in 4. Game number 9, Cardiff 1, Stoke 0. A couple of new managers in here. Not possible for them both to have the new manager bounce, so Michael O'Neill graciously hands it to Neil Harris. Another great goal as well. Cliche, good feet for a big man. Bacuna into the box. Brilliant back heel 1-2 pass from Gary Medine. Bacuna, touch, top corner. Stoke defensive thinking, where did that come from? Great goal. Cardiff stick with the 4-2-3-1. Tomlin gets to start, having come on and scored at Charlton. A bit more of a creative guy than Patterson, who is good in the air and good receiving the ball with his back to goal. Still no sign yet of the 4-4-2 Millwall system, but I guess Danny Ward will be back, and there'll be a few more striking options, maybe to partner Big Medine, who seems to have played himself in now under Harris. Let's see if he can keep the shirt. 4 points from the first 2 games. All these managers coming in, Bowen, Rowett, Michael O'Neill, all getting a good, even the Cowleys, I know they had a couple of defeats, all getting a good feed. James Beattie, another Clotet's friends, under house arrest, really, says Steve. Interesting. I'll add an allegedly to that and check that one up. Interesting story there. Stoke, first defeat under the aforementioned Michael O'Neill. It's not going to be back-to-back wins again, is it? We'll find out, because Nathan Jones did this. Michael O'Neill's done it. Someone surely has got to be able to get a tune out of this expensively assembled Stoke squad. Cardiff 11, Stoke still in the bottom 3. I don't know what the highest point they can get to, but they need to start moving quickly. Everyone assumes they're not going down. Well, they're in the bottom 3, so at the moment they are, but let's see what Michael O'Neill has up his sleeve. Game number 10, Millwall 2, Wigan 2. Long one into Kiefer Moore, Pilkington following up. Lovely finish again, nice goal, so many good ones. Hutchison heads in Jed Wallace's corner. Jed Wallace on fire with the goal contributions at the moment. Direct one up to Joe Garner this time. I know I love Joe Garner from his Ipswich days, but what an assist this is. Chests it down, spins, as the ball hits the ground, plays a perfectly weighted ball through for Anthony Robinson. Check that out. Brilliant from Joe Garner. Yes, I'm biased. Yes, one of my favourite players when he was at Ipswich, but lovely stuff. But Millwall equalise again immediately. Sean Williams down the wing and beautifully crossing in here. Don't know where that came from. Smith, Big Smith, heads in. Tarrant header, actually. Millwall put another point on the board. The good run continues. I guess they would have expected to win this one, given it was against lower ranking opposition. But still, 10 points in 5 games for Gary Rowett, looking rosy at the den. Nick says Joe Garner. Should have never sold another Ipswich fan in the feed there. There you go. Wigan's front 2 has another Ipswich link in Kiefer Moore and Joe Garner. So maybe Paul Cook's going to change up and go for the front 2. Seemed to work from a goal scoring point of view. And if you say, look, Millwall are one of the best teams in the league for crosses into the box, and they just couldn't defend the crosses into the box, maybe there's a positive to accentuate here. 3 straight defeats going into this, so obviously a draw is an improvement. That said, the Luton and Borough results that we're about to go on to go against Wigan, and they slip down into the bottom 3. Millwall in 12th, Wigan in 22nd. 2 more to go. Luton 2, Charlton 1. Luton ending a 5-game losing streak here, get the win. Another good goal here. Bond slips Lecco in. Really good pace and finish there. Had to run a long way through. Does really well there. I've criticised Lecco before. Great goal. And Panzu fires in a nice equaliser here with James Collins suspiciously in front of the goalkeeper, yet not interfering with play or offside. Great goal again here. Shinnie slides in Izzy Brown. Brilliant first touch by Brown. He's kind of sideways on and sort of flips it up, which completely does Lockyer and leaves him on his arse. And then Brown's so cool and sticks it in. Jaggy Bab says, I like this Luton team, think they'll stay up. Yeah, it's really nice to see a team down the bottom who just goes for it. Box says, Ipswich promoted, taken over by a rich owner. Jaron Bowen bought, scores 30 goals. Ipswich in the Premier League. That's not going to happen, but it would be a nice dream, wouldn't it? Hey, well, we're going to talk about ownership in a second vis-a-vis Charlton, but yes, brilliant goal by Izzy Brown, really shining in this Luton team. Charlton, they bought back Pratley. Morgan comes in for Cullen, who's done, was it his knee ligaments, I think? Still no Williams and Taylor, no number 10 and no number 9 up front. 9 points in 12 games. This cannot continue for Charlton, who've dropped to 17th. There's a nice gap of 5 points at the moment. We know how bad the teams are at the bottom for swallowing up gaps. So maybe that run at the start of the season. But remember Wigan last season, Charlton fans. Wigan had an absurdly good start of the season. But in the end, it comes back to you. It really, really does. And Wigan were duking it out down the bottom there. You wouldn't like the same to happen for Charlton, who, in a similar way to Luton, actually, are quite refreshing because they just press the hell out of teams and kind of go for it, don't they? Really commit men forward when they do, particularly from midfield. So it's not working at the moment, though. I know they've got injury problems. Before I comment more on Charlton's ownership, they've been sold this morning. Mr. De Chatelet has gone. I don't know anything about the new owner, so I better read up on that. But I know how Charlton fans thought about the previous ownership. So I guess this is a good thing. It all depends on what the new owners do. There's always a chance they could be worse than the old ones, but I'm sure Charlton fans won't think they will be. I did fancy Luton for this one. If you check back my predictions, they did prove me right. There's not much new to say about Luton. We know roughly what the teams are going to be, don't we? We know roughly what the tactics are going to be. Here's my 3 big questions. Can their players develop and become better Championship players as they go, particularly the likes of, the centre-halves and the back 4? Can they win tight games? Because they haven't managed to do it very often this season. Well, they do have 5 wins, don't they? And can they keep Izzy Brown fit? If 2 of those 3 things happen, they may well stay up. Enzo asked about Forest for automatic or playoffs. I'm still going to stick my hat on playoffs, but Forest can change my mind if they go on a nice run. It was the question I raised earlier in the stream of, do you need to be expansive and have loads and loads of shots every game, or can you be really tight and get promoted really tight, stable and smart in game, which Forest are? And I think on a 46 game league you probably can. So they could do it. It just depends whether Leeds and West Brom and Fulham blitz into the distance with their kind of possession and chance creation. Although I know someone will comment, I know Leeds haven't scored that many, but Leeds still 10, 15 chances created per game despite not getting that many goals yet. Charlton 17th, Luton out of the bottom 3, 21st. Borough have won a game, amazing. Borough 1, Barnsley 0, but it's still defensive poorness from Barnsley. Cavare gets robbed by Tavernier into Fletcher, and Anderson, as he's going to go and make the block, falls over, which allows, I don't even think Fletcher's first touch was what he meant, was it? And Fletcher can roll it into the empty net. So first win in 11 for Borough, and there are some positives here, I have to say. They're out of the bottom 3, and someone posted a Twitter video today of all of the big chances that Borough have missed this season, and that means one of 2 things. Either their strikers are rubbish, and I don't think Assombalonga and Fletcher are rubbish. I think they're good players, and I think at this level they're perfectly good enough. I think Assombalonga's actually a very decent Championship striker. What that means is if they keep doing exactly the same thing, i.e. creating lots of chances, and they actually, this is an XG thing, they actually exercise the probability and score them, they will move up the table. That is for sure. The one thing I do worry about is, Andrew, I'll take that in a minute about Leeds finishing. I do have a theory about that. The one thing I worry about, I just took a few little look at Borough's fixtures. Sorry, I'm fudging my words all over the place here. The only games they have won were all home games. They're all 1-0, and they were against Reading, Wigan and Barnsley, which means at the moment they're only able to beat slightly bad teams who aren't very good in front of goal, and they've only managed to beat them 1-0. So they're going to have to improve, Borough, but I think there are positives there. Barnsley 2 games in for Struber, 2 defeats now by the odd goal. It's not his fault. Obviously, he's just come in there. And you just look at the 2 winning goals in those games. They both come from, well, this one comes from a direct mistake. And remember the Dak goal against Blackburn last week, where he just left from a free kick, and you're like, come on, just see this game out and take your points. So just not good defensively, Barnsley. 8 points to safety now. Only 9 points on the board. You just worry now whether, and this is what happened to my team, Ipswich, whether you get into that rut and it just becomes impossible to get out of it. And you start to see the telltale signs, and I watched Ipswich all last season. You start to see, one is the early goals going in against you. You're so fragile. You start to see periods of dominance followed by not scoring, followed by conceding. It's the fragility. I'm really keen, Jaggy and Andrew have asked about the Leeds attack. I'm really keen to talk about that. I will do in just a second. Let's just go through. Borough 20th, Barnsley 24th. Is there any hope for Barnsley, I wonder? Top scorers, good game week for all of those. Graben and Dak join Hugel and Wells on 8. Grant goes up to 10. Watkins stays on 11. Bowen, we get to mention Bowen again. Love it. Up to 12. Mitro out in front on 13. Steve says Leeds needs to buy it in January. If they don't, that will tell of their intent. Did they have some investment recently, Leeds? There's still the Arab guys. Is it an Arab-backed thing? I don't know. Qatar, possibly? I don't know. There's still that rumbling along in the background. Not much change in the key passes. Bannon, Downing, Mowat, Brown, Swift. QSI says Andrew and Jaggy. Thank you. Defences, Wednesday 17 against Brentford, 14 against Forest, 13 against Leeds, 10 in the Bens. 8-5-6-3. Robbie says, and Ketia on the mend. I hope Bielsa gives him a game. A lot of people talking about the lack of Leeds goals. I do think this is systematic. I really, really do. Let's be honest, if Patrick Bamford played for Brentford or played for Fulham, where it's kind of focused through making loads of chances for a number 9 with players close to him supporting, I think he would be on 10, 11 goals. I think sometimes for Leeds, the way that they build up and Bamford involved joining in, they sometimes it can be fairly slow. I know they have loads of natural positions. And I agree with, in the feed there, Bamford is a natural goal scorer. He is not, but I think sometimes it works against the forward there, and it's more about kind of players running and joining in. You notice Klitsch will score a lot. Hernandez will score a lot. Harrison is actually scoring a lot now. Hernandez, it's kind of all about those quick passes and those type of goals. And sometimes the forward in that thing is laying the ball off initially, or playing the 1-2, or coming short and people running past him. If that explanation doesn't sound too stupid in terms of Leeds, although there was a sense last season that they just bombarded teams and had so much possession and created so many chances. Look at the first game of the season against Bristol City. That's the model, isn't it? Andrew says Bamford had injuries last season, getting the jitters again. That's one theory. I wonder whether he would possibly go to Nketiah in the position that Tyler Roberts is playing at the moment. I just feel if Leeds had a real good, Roof did that, didn't he? Joel says, wish he would come back. Someone just said, thoughts on Rooney. I cannot wait until Rooney comes. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I hope he does one of two things, either plays in the number 10 position at Derby, where you're getting sort of Dwayne Holmes at the moment with Lawrence and Waghorn. What I would love to see, though, is if anyone watched Pirlo when he went to the USA, I'd love him to stick Rooney in centre midfield and for him to just not run and just ping 60-yard passes about. Jaggy says, talks of us getting Vidra from Derby. There you go. That would be perfect, right? When Gary Rowett played Vidra in the number 10 position for Derby. He scored like 23 goals or something like that. Fact check me on the figures like that. But that's what I know. Some people disagree with me in the feed. That's what I think that Leeds would really benefit from in January. Just that statement of, look, here's a quality player going through and joining the team at the right time. Always seems to be that a team that gets promoted, they will add somebody really good in January. It just makes that difference, doesn't it? So it'd be interesting to see whether Leeds do that. Let me know if there's any other questions in the feed now, because we are all done here for this review show. I guess I need to do the bloody preview now, and we've got Fulham Swansea tonight, and I've got to do some work this afternoon, so I will try and get the preview done before tomorrow, but we might have to stream it tomorrow morning. We'll see how that all pans out. I am intending to do the Fulham Swansea, no, Swansea Fulham, I should say, the right around game tonight. I've just started doing these where I'm not actually at the game, and I'm still doing the same review, but I'm live streaming straight after the game. So do get involved in those. I know some people are critical about not being at the game, but just trying to get as much out. Andrew says, great stream, you put some great content. So hopefully he's in agreement that that's cool to do. In a bit of a interesting place as a vlogger at the moment. Be interested in commenters' feedback on this, whether I am just purely an analytical guy and I'll just do this stuff, or whether I can still go and do the match experiences and go and do games. We'll see. Ultimately, it's what subscribers want. Andrew says, oh, it's 12:30 a.m. I'm down under in Sydney. My God, well, you might be awake by the time we do Fulham Swansea, Andrew, but go to bed, mate. Honestly, what time are we here in Bedfordshire? 1:30. Lovely. So, right, I'm going to crack on. Let me know your feedback about those things and about the channel in general. Nick, thank you. He says, I like seeing the match experience. I try and do as much as I can, but it's all about the focus, isn't it? Steve says, good point. Bamford like Dylan on the Magic Roundabout. That's harsh, Steve. Harsh, isn't it? Bamford. One of those guys that gets stick whatever he does, isn't he? Bamford. I wonder if it's because he's kind of posh. We'll see. Football fans can't really relate to those kind of guys. We're all working class type people, aren't we? As long as you keep watching Forest live, says Marcus. When am I next going to see Forest? I can't even think. But we'll try and get down to see Forest again. Look, in an ideal world, and this is how I've set up my Patreon, I would love to be able to do this full time and go to lots of stuff. Iggy says Lions TV recommended me here. Thank you. It's down at Lions TV, isn't it? Thank you, Iggy, for joining us here. And I have to say, of all the places I go, Millwall, despite what people think, happens to be one of the friendliest to me. So there you go. I call people and tell it as I see it for me. So there we go. It's not true about those Millwall fans, isn't it? Right. Thank you for watching. Before I gush any more about Forest and about Millwall. And we'll see you for the preview. Hopefully see you tonight for the stream on Fulham Swansea. Thank you everybody for watching. Over and out.